Hi, I'm Jeff Stokes. Welcome to Jeff's Daily Dose of Encouragement. Today I want to encourage you about showing empathy. In Romans 12:15 it says, "Rejoice with them that do rejoice and weep with them that weep." Now I'm sort of going to take a little bit out of that principle a bit, and sometimes when someone's going through something, perhaps because we haven't experienced it before, we can have trouble really identifying with where people are at and what it's like. And sometimes things happen to us, not because God causes them, but because, stuff happens sometimes. And then we end up going through a challenging time because of it. But in that time, we go through stuff that other people have gone through or will go through in the future. And when they go through that and we maybe aren't, and we can identify with where they're at. A perfect example is what's happening to me at the moment. As I've already said to people, I've broken a bone in my leg. I was trying to visit my wife, who's in a hospital ward at the moment, getting an assessment and things done. She's quite crippled and has a lot of pain and things like that. She can't even sleep in a bed and things like that, and life is very slow for her to go around and do stuff. And I've been trying to go around over the last, it's probably about 10 days now, doing the things I need to do, and it's given me a glimpse, it's given me an insight into her world and why things are so hard and so difficult and why it's so slow. I mean, I sort of get it by watching her trying to do stuff, but when you have to actually do it yourself, then it's like, the penny drops. So although God's not the one that instigates the broken legs and the being crippled and all that. That's because we live in a fallen world, and the enemy, the God of this world, often does stuff. Sometimes it can happen because of our own stupidity, but sometimes it can happen because of other people's foolishness too. It's just we live in a fallen world and stuff happens. But we can identify, we can empathize with people. God will use what we're going through so that when we've recovered again and we find that we're dealing with other people who are having issues and stuff like that, we can identify with them. We can rejoice with them when they rejoice, and we can weep when they weep. We can identify and empathize with them when they are struggling and with a disability or a temporary disability, if you like. So that's my encouragement for you today. If you don't know the Lord Jesus Christ, well, he literally identified himself with us. God became a man and identified himself by taking on sinful flesh. Although he never sinned, he was in all points tempted but never sinned. And then he went to the cross, so he identified with us as humans, and then went to the cross to pay the penalty for our sin as a perfect, but the only perfect human being, because we couldn't. And he identified with our sin nature. He identified with it, then took the punishment due to us on himself, so that we could be free from sin. He identified with us, empathized with us. If you don't know the Lord Jesus Christ, if you confess with your mouth the Lord Jesus and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, because he also did that, which none of us could do, you will be saved. For whosoever shall confess that Jesus is the Son of God, God dwells in him, and he in God. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.